we're going to be speaking with one of the beneficiaries of the Voice program that will talk about her work and what she does, and then some of her motivation in the work that she does. Thank you. So let's meet my guest. So please, Ma, can you tell us your name and your organization?
Right. My name is Agatha Nnaji, and I'm the founder and the executive director of Dewdrop Foundation.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Ma,
You're welcome.
for coming on our program. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about what Dewdrop Foundation does?
So, in a nutshell, Dewdrop Foundation brings a refreshing change in the lives of our right holders and our target groups. And these are primarily women and the elderly.
Oh,
So we try to bring them on board, make sure that they have a voice to be able to advocate for themselves and be able to live a better life.
oh, wow, amazing. You're doing a lot. You're doing amazing work. Thank you so much for that introduction. So, and then what motivated you? How did you actually get into the development space, especially in this field that you currently are?
I got into development primarily because of a personal experience I had.
Okay.
It turns out that somebody that lived with us for a long time as a nanny and was an excellent nanny, when she eventually got married and had kids, she still wasn't able to cope financially. In her case, she wasn't able to go into the regular secondary school and university like others did because she was a bit educationally challenged. However, I felt it wasn't right that somebody so good, somebody with such skills, would end up not being able to fend for herself as she got older and still had to rely on the family. So that led to some research in the communities where we usually get house helps from. And it turns out also that in those communities, when their children, especially the young girls, are being sent out as house helps, there's really no discussion about what the person would benefit. They usually talk about what they'll give the parents: wrapper, food, money, but the individual's education and empowerment is not discussed. So that's what led to my getting involved in the development arena.
Wow, I can see your passion and how you actually wanted to support that. Wow, that is, I think most times people don't actually talk about what they want to give. They only want to talk about what they want to get. What they want to get, and that's
Which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
But it leaves a lot of vulnerable people out there.
Yes.
In a place where they can't grow and get out of the poverty level that is all over the place. So for me, Dewdrop Foundation actually led to Dewdrop Institute, which does training and vocational training in a way that you can take that and run with it and develop your career. It doesn't matter whether you're able to complete your secondary school or not. There are different levels for the training and certification. So for us, when you have people living with you and they have to leave your family and move somewhere else, they always start at the same level. So you're paying somebody 40,000 naira as a household. She moves to the next family, 40,000 naira. Regardless of the experience, regardless of the skills, whether it's in child care, whether it's in elder care, or being a cook, or being a steward, or being a laundry person, it remains at that stagnant level. So our goal as an organization is to empower those right holders that we identify, and they're largely women. The women that are also caught up in old age have a double whammy because first, they didn't make enough as young ladies, and they had family responsibilities, and now that they're elderly, there's actually no one there for them, and there's no piggy bank that they can rely on, so they end up having to ask for help. Not a good place to be.
Wow. Wow. So talking about your training, that you train women so that they can have skills to actually continue to survive even if they are out of work. And then considering the fact that the voice program has actually is coming to an end, how do you think we can leverage such opportunities for sustainability of non-profit? Because we know that most organizations, most non-profit, after their first funding, they go under the shadow. You don't even hear anything about them. So how do you think, as an organization, especially emerging organization that gets their first funding and then they don't have other funding, how can they leverage or manage sustainability to scale their organization?
Sustainability is key. When you're starting a project, you must think it through end to end. So yes, you identify who your target group is, what their needs are, how you want to help them to overcome those challenges. But you must be able to empower them in such a way that they embrace it and run with it, whether you are there or not. So, as an example, what we did with Voice is that we identified a community in Enugu State that was just coming out of communal crisis. So they have established a new location, a new community, and we helped them to work through their governance structure. So with the governance structure, it entailed going through with each one of the decision makers and decision groups and the various family groups to make sure that their constitution was established, and with that constitution to make sure that everybody had a voice. So that enabled us to create a lot of advocacy and sensitize the community about things that matter. It's not just about men, and unfortunately in the southeast the men rule. Okay, so it's not a bad thing. However, listen and include others. That's what we're about, because then you can get more out of your people and your resources. So once that constitution was established and the community embraced it, automatically we were able to give two women a right and a position in the Igwe's cabinet. And in the town union cabinet. So women have a voice at those two governance levels in the community. Then we had to train the women to be able to speak up, not to challenge the men, but to be a kind of voice of reasoning, a voice that gives them information, so that in making their decisions, they make informed decisions that would impact everyone, not just a few. And initially, in fact, one of the first two ladies that that got that position ran away. She just said, "I can't do it."
Oh,
I'm a widow.
Oh my God!
Am I going to tell my husband's people that I am in the Igwe's cabinet? That I am now the one talking on behalf of women?
Wow!
That they are going to go after me? So she was, and I was a bit surprised, because this is a very strong woman.
Wow!
But she just didn't want the politics of it to now affect her and her children, because she's a widow. So we had to find alternatives, and the women, voted and found somebody else that replaced her in the Igwe's cabinet, and it's been quite effective. And I believe that even members of the community and members of the cabinet have all complimented the role that the women are playing. They are not there to rub shoulders. They're there to just share information, give ideas, and help them to kind of steer themselves into the right direction, rather than be very aggressive on everything. So that has been a major success for us. And with their presence in those two governance structures, I believe that the community will continue to grow. Now, the second thing we had to do was to build their skills and capacity in communication. So when you're talking to people, you have to be prepared. You have to think about what you really want to sell to them and what you want to get out of what you're saying. So it took a while. We had some interesting sessions, and eventually I can say that not just those two women, we have a group of others, across the generations who are upcoming leaders for the women in the community. But in terms of real sustainability, there must be the financial aspect of it.
Very important.
The women's had a major issue, a major challenge. Like I said, this is a community just coming out of a communal war. So you can't really say that they were so comfortable financially. So a lot of things had to be started afresh. And of course, that's not a situation where a woman will keep demanding from the husband for herself or for her children or even for the husband.
Of course.
So we had to engage the women in different trades and different things they could do to be able to raise money.
Wow.
One of which was agriculture. You can see we have a lot of products which we have branded from Umode community. And that brand is something that we want to make sure that it goes global. Because when a brand is unique and it's something that's in demand, then the sky is the limit for the people that prepare it. So we've been able to work with the women. We have a rice farm in the community. We're growing plantains and bananas for sale. We have cassava that we have turned into flour and other products. We've also gotten for the first time 5 hectares of land for the women.
Wow.
So with that, I believe that they have enough resources to actually sustain what they have learned and what the impact of voice has been in the community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really amazing. That is amazing.
We are proud of the Umede women.
Oh.
Yes, they listened, they bought into it, and they took it up and ran with it.
Wow.
Yes. So when you talk to them, they talk for themselves. They no longer need Dewdrop. They no longer need voice as such, because now they are powerful in their own rights. The other thing that we did was to get the women to buy into the program that we have for the elderly. So the women are the champions of our elder care program in the community. Prior to 2016, 2017, when we got into the elder abuse program, a lot of the elderly people were left behind at home when women go to the farm or the men go out to look for work, etc. And a lot of them were so vulnerable, they couldn't help themselves. So with old age comes challenges like incontinence, loss of memory, lack of communication skills start dropping, all sorts of things. So you have communities where people shy away from the elderly because they think they're going crazy or that they are witches and that kind of thing. So we had to go through sensitization of about 11 communities in Enugu State about the state and welfare of elderly people. the good that can come from embracing them, because they have a lot of experience, they have a lot of wisdom, and they can share this with the younger generation so that they don't make some mistakes that ordinarily they would have. So we now established for the elderly people in our community what we call the Teenagers Association. Teenager stands for senior teenagers.
Oh my God!
And
Wow,
that makes them feel young.
Younger,
That makes them
yes.
feel like they are relevant. That makes them feel
true. Wow.
engaged. And through the voice program, we were able to get them to create their executive committee, and they have a platform where they meet once a month to discuss their issues. And through the Constitution, we've given them a voice as well, so they can approach the Igwe's cabinet or the welfare at the town union to talk about their issues. So they send a representative to discuss their issues once they harmonize and agree on what they want to say. They have the right to invite members of the cabinet to their meetings.
Wow.
To hear them.
Wow.
And members of the town union to their meeting. So that empowered them, and that made them feel like we care about them. What else? The other thing they've done is that they remember themselves. So if you don't come to a meeting, they send somebody to go and check on you. And they ask the women, what's going on? Please check on this person or that person. Maybe he or she is not feeling well. So these are some of the things that I believe, sad as it is that voice is leaving, they have left a footprint that will remain. So hopefully our sustainability plan will actually succeed.
Oh wow, thank you so much for that. I mean, that is very amazing. I mean, you're doing a lot when it comes to training, skill acquisition, inclusion, and many other things. And I think that credit also goes to voice as well.
Yes, indeed.
Organization. Thank you so much for that. I think I've learned a lot personally, and I believe that our viewers and our guests will also learn from this.
I hope so.
To be able to build sustainable business, sustainable organization, to continue to remain and continue to do your local work, so that you're not out of ideas, you're not out of project initiative, as long as you continue to build a sustainable solutions to your organization. Please always ensure that you always include sustainability plan to your organization. Thank you so much for coming on our program.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Ma. It was nice talking with you.
Same here. Have a lovely day.
Right,
Thank
bye.
you, gentlemen.